What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, we're going to be doing an online review of the 2022 Ford GT. We're going to be looking at the specs of the car, the motor, the transmission, the interior, its design features, and basically how I would modify it. Oh, but first, I want to remind you guys, like always, if you could just please smash that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, make sure it's on all so that you get notified when I come out with the next video. I greatly appreciate it. All right, so why don't we pull up here the article written by Car and Driver. They did a very nice article here, so that's what I'm going to be using to do this review. And here we got it. This is one beautifully spec'd out Ford GT. Let's take a quick look at the overview of this car here. It says here, for anyone who wants to drive a race car that is legal for the road use, just gather up about $500,000 and somehow earn the chance to buy the 2022 Ford GT. Its breathtaking bodywork both honors the iconic GT40 race car that dominated the Le Mans in 1960 and serves as the pinnacle of the Blue Oval's design and engineering department. Yeah, this thing basically pays a lot of homage to the older, what they used to be called the GT40s, the big V8 supercharger. It looks, really looks a lot like it. And it just looks like a much better modern version of that car with some key changes that, some people mind and a lot of people don't mind. But I'm very happy with what they did. So why don't we just take a quick look at the car itself? I mean, at first glance, this thing really just looks like nothing but a race car for the streets. But essentially, that's what it is. Their race program with this car here, the difference between this car, the street version, and the race car is very minimal. It's very wide. I mean, it looks very functional. Everything on there looks functional and purposeful. Nothing really looks fake as far as the vents. Everything is functional, which I will go over the design of it a little bit later on in the video. But I mean, even from that hood, those hood vents, the vents on the side, the wing itself, oh man, everything about this car to me just looks stunning. Let's talk a little bit about the motor that it's in here. Or basically, let's go down to what's new. It says here the 2022 Ford GT is notable because it serves as the last model year of the limited production road-going race car. I, for one, happen to like the very first and the last model year of a particular car before the next one goes out. Just have a liking towards it. They tend to do a little bit extra sometimes. As a send-off to the marvelous machine that they launched back in 2017, and to pay further homage to the 5 original GT prototypes that spawned the Le Mans winners, Ford introduced the 2022 GT 64 Prototype Heritage Edition. Let's take a quick look at that, because I do remember that. You see it is right next to, well, that's the color scheme that they have there with that off-white next to the original GT40. Man, that thing looks really nice. Both of them together. Let's see what they got here for with a couple of the photos. See, now this shot here is iconic GT40 with those doors that could easily decapitate you if you're not careful in the placement of your head when you're getting in. But you can look here at the front. I mean, there's really not much other than the doors. It's really, you could clearly see that the new version derived from this particular GT40 here. I mean, with the hood, the vents and everything in the back, even the wing, you can partially see that the wing has that very similar shape. Look at it from the back, crazy. I love how they got the motor sticking out there. You can clearly see that it has the ITBs of that V8. So we can find now the profile. Yes, profile looks real nice. Really short wheelbase for the older one, the GT40. All right, let's see if we can find one of them together. I know that there is a nice photo of both of them together from the front. Okay, yeah, here's a really nice photo. And you can clearly see that both of these cars are clearly, Ford GTs. You got the Ford GT on the left and the GT40 on the right. And, the GT looks just like an updated version, which is perfect. I think Ford did a really good job with staying close to the heritage of the GT40. Talking a little bit about the motor here, the Ford GT has the same motor that's in a Raptor, an F-150 Raptor. Just that it has obviously a different tune, coming in at 660 horsepower, 550 foot-pound of torque. I mean, it's going to the rear wheels and through a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. And this thing does sound pretty good. I've heard quite a few videos of it, and it really does sound like a really nice note, exhaust note. Arguably, most people will say that the Ford GT is definitely the best sounding EcoBoost motor there is, hands down. All right, let's continue to dive into its specs. The ride height, it says it can be lowered 50 millimeters. Now, the ride height of the GT is adjustable through the drive modes. And when you select tracked or race mode, whichever one it is, man, if you see how fast and how low the Ford GT can get, it's really impressive. The body of the Ford GT is carbon fiber, and it has an aluminum structure. So carbon fiber and aluminum should make it pretty light there. It has a very interesting suspension setup. It's primarily like the racing setup, has the long arms and inbound setup. It's for the track, of course. Now, some people say that it's the ride height, the ride quality of the Ford GT. It's stiff, but it's not too stiff. It's quite comfortable, as far as I know. As far as I've seen other people mention about the ride quality. It's like a good ride quality, even with the various drive modes. And now the brakes, it has carbon ceramic brakes, and sometimes, one of the photos I saw, it has a dual caliper setup in the back, which is cool. It has Brembos, so it has carbon ceramic Brembos. Now let's see if we can take a look at some of the test results that were done. Here it did 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3 seconds flat. Wow, that's a pretty good there. And then we have here, it did 0 to 100 in 6.2 seconds. Now it did the standing quarter mile in 10.8 seconds. Now that's what I'm talking about, at 134 miles per hour. From the factory, able to do 10 seconds, almost a 1080 here. Those are good numbers to have. It says here it has a top speed of 216 miles per hour. Now the base price, as seen in the picture up here, it's It's listed as $478,000. But after you add in all the options there, you're looking at about $525,750. So this, it's not cheap. If you don't know already, you need an allocation to get one of these. Remember when they first came out, there was a 2-year clause when you could not sell it for 2 years. I know that is over now, but man, oh man, what do you have to do to get an allocation for a Ford GT? I wish I could, you know what I'm saying? But for now, all I can do is just go through the configurator that Ford has on their website, which is pretty nice, and I'll show it to you here. It's pretty nice configurator. You can just go through and sort of build it, but of course there's no pricing and everything. I really like what they have here, colors and everything. What color that I would basically get would be this yellow. I like it in this yellow. It's a supercar, so it has to be have that supercar feel, in my opinion. Now the wheels and the interior and everything, what I realize is that I really like the blue. They have like this black and blue interior here. To me, that looks good. That looks real good. I'm going to get to the interior in just a little bit, but they have the series. You can get the series, which they have the Ford GT Competition Series, the Ford GT 67 Heritage Edition, Race Red, Ford GT 66 Heritage Edition, which makes you just paying homage to some of the previous generations. But the one that I like that tickles my fancy is this one here, the Ford GT Competition Series. Now, when you get that one, you have to confirm, and you can kind of see what there's a change. It changes quite a few things. I mean, you can get here unique exterior heritage highlights would be the standard lightweight gloss carbon fiber wheels with the titanium lug nuts. And you would also get standard titanium exhaust system with unique titanium tips, unique lightweight race inspired engine hatch with Perpex cover and manual latch. Bulkhead fitted with lightweight Gorilla Glass, unique exposed gloss carbon fiber stripe, like that. Exposed gloss carbon fiber lower mirror caps and A-pillars, love that. Anything with carbon fiber, I love. I've even seen some that are exposed carbon, the entire body. Not a big fan of that. It's available. Those are the colors that it's available. You get the unique interior highlights, lightweight ebony black Alcantara seats, and IP and headliner. That's what's up. Exposed carbon fiber console, air registers and door sills. So you're basically getting a lot of carbon fiber here. So why don't we just go and take a look at the interior. All right, taking a quick look at this interior, and this thing is beautiful, man. To me, it really speaks loudly. This says race car to me, with all this Alcantara everywhere, the dry carbon. Really simple layout, man. Really simple and clean. Even this little piece here, that's like a door handle, that it's also wrapped in Alcantara. You definitely tell that this is a modern Ford, or Ford period, because it got that same headlight cluster that I had in Bullet. But this steering wheel speaks nothing but race car. It looks like it's out of the cockpit of a race car. All the buttons on it, dry carbon fiber pieces and Alcantara, the squarish top and the bottom, just race car. I really like the blue seats. Typically, I like to have my interior color scheme be going like my interior color scheme to be black, red, and with silver accents. But I'll definitely settle for this. Is not really a settle, but this is definitely, it's different, but I like it. The black with the blue and the carbon fiber pieces and the Alcantara, those color contrasts go together pretty well. And especially seeing that it's like a heritage vehicle from Ford, with these, I could get used to these colors. And if you look somewhere else here, it shows you the seats. These seats, just quite frankly, man, they look amazing. I mean, they look strictly race car. You know, they don't have harnesses, but they have the provisions for it. Really deep looking bucket seats here. I mean, to me, that looks like you sit pretty far down and back. And we know that the seats here are not adjustable. What is adjustable are the pedals. You press a button and the pedals come to you along with the steering wheel. And in this gauge cluster here reminds me of a Haldex. Looks like a Haldex system. Very simple, clean design, you know, with dry carbon fiber everywhere. Love that. This interior just looks like it's business, but looks kind of comfortable as well. All right, so let us change gears a little bit and start talking about a segment that I would like to add into my reviews, which are the design features. You know, I'm very much so interested in design features of cars, and just figured that we could take a look at it. And it is a Ford website here. It's ford.com/performancegt. When you bring up the page, you just get just one example of just man, this thing makes me speechless. Everywhere you look, you see a lot of sharp, smooth, flowing lines, and I love it. And one thing that I really love the most is that everything here is pretty much functional. I mean, it is a real mid-engine drive car, and you know, of course, that's going to mean that it's going to need to have a lot of air ducts. But the way that Ford integrated the air ducts with aerodynamics and downforce is just, oh man, they did such a great job. You look at it from the top, I mean, yo, it just reminds me of an F1 car. So let us click on a few of the design features here, and let's talk about it. This view. The intake, which is this big vent right here on the right side. Now, this particular intake, they said it has the air inlets just ahead of the rear wheels feed cooling air into the intercoolers, and also act as an inlet for the engine air intake. So it's breathing through this particular inlet right here. So, oh man, that's just so, it makes me speechless. Not good for video, but it just makes me speechless looking at it. And I just love how you can just see right through all the way to what's behind the car through this little triangle right here. And you got this piece here that connects from the top, the roof, going all the way to that fender. Yo, they just knocked it out the box with that. See what else we got. All right, let's look at this part here. I mean, you can get a better look. Oh man, at that piece that connects from the hood, from the roof to the fender there where the vent is. And then that rear spoiler or rear wing. Oh man, it looks phenomenal. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, let's talk about the rear wing. Right now, as you can see, the wing is up. I mean, it looks really nice when it's up. And it's active aero. So when they press on the brake to give the car a little more downforce and help it slow down, that wing pops up. Not just up, but forward. It goes forward. And even when it's down, like it's still helping, because it's kind of like bridging the gap between the right and the left side, and also the middle. And the way that they do that, I mean, look, oh man. The way that they do that is just genius. Genius. As you can see, this is the cutout here. So when it's up, this is exposed here. This gap is not bridged. So this is at low speeds, and the wing is down. It connects everything there. And again, you can see from the front to the back, all through this little area here. And of course, they have a little bit of a ventilation in the tail light, and exhaust tips. Looks like something out of a fighter jet. Let's see, and they call it the buttress, which is a weird name, but I get where they're going. It says here, it's a great example of the engineering and ingenuity that went into the Ford GT. The buttress adds strength to the chassis and guides airflow over the car while contributing to drag reduction and efficient airflow management. It also reduces the coefficient of drag and contributes to the downforce that optimizes handling and performance. Yeah, so many aspects of this car just, has that look that it's focused on generating downforce and helping out with the coefficient of drag with how sleek it is. Yeah, see, look at that. Oh man, it's just so low, so wide, silky looking, and that thing looks like a weapon. In fact, if I got one, I would call it saber, like the sword saber. Oh man, because this thing just looks like a blade. Everywhere you look, it just looks like it's cutting through the air, really sharp edges, nicely rounded off. This looks like a saber to me. All right, so the last thing that we're going to talk about with the Ford GT is how I would modify it. I am a car enthusiast, an avid car enthusiast, and I really like to modify my cars whenever possible. And with the Ford GT, there is help with it. Surprisingly, I didn't think that you would be able to. Most supercars, there's not really much you can do with them, but thankfully, there is someone that decided to make. There's a few companies that decided to make a little something for the Ford GT. And really, the only area that I would modify it would be the exhaust. Thankfully, there is Boiler came out with an exhaust for the Ford GT. Let's take a quick look at it here. And this thing is just beautiful, beautiful. You can see that it still operates or utilizes the cats, who personally, but so it's right after the cats. It's V-banded connection right there, right onto the cats, and it looks like it has an X-pipe setup, which is cool. Yeah, all right. So I recognize this. It's their ATAC system here. The ATAC, switchfire style of X-pipe. That's this section right here, and the switchfire. This is the ATAC section, and the switchfire is set up here. They have it for the Mustang, which is a little more dramatic. Not really dramatic, but it's easier to read. But the way it works is that from one bank here, it splits up into 2 exits. So you got one here split, goes up there, comes right out, and the other side does the same, but it joins it at that collector there. So that's technically an X-pipe. When you have one bank crossing over and affecting the other, but this one, the split fire now, the same bank also goes to the other side and interacts with the other bank right at the collector. So they do it at the collector there. Then, like Boiler always does, they have very nice carbon fiber tips, which look pretty good, I must say. I really like that. So that would be the only modification that I believe that I would do. Really only one area that I may or may not modify, which would be the wheels. The Ford GT has carbon fiber wheels. I mean, I'm not sure I would want to get away from that, but if I did, that would be the only other area. There is one other company that I know of that makes an exhaust for the Ford GT. It's the Akrapovic. I know that they have one of those. I've actually heard it on Shmi 150's channel. He has a Ford GT. My man was lucky enough to get an allocation, and he also did an Akrapovic exhaust on it. Sounds pretty good. So those are the 2 options for being able to modify the Ford GT. Yeah, Boiler and Akrapovic. Well, all right, that's going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you guys for watching my very first online car review. My next car review that I'm planning to do